Hello, if you have watched my channel for a few years, you may know my former obsession with Colleen Ballinger. My love for her started around 2011, but I was full-fledged fangirl by 2018. I even have a playlist on my account, specifically for videos that I posted about Colleen Ballinger. I paid for VIP to her shows and I met her twice. I made her family handmade gifts. I bought countless merch items. This is the last one that I have. And it will be going live on my Mercari if you want to buy it because that's the only thing I have left that I haven't sold. So there you go. She felt like a cousin or a big sister to me. I even thought about getting her signature tattooed on me like I do the Taylor Swift signature. Yeah, my love ran deep. I remember in 2020 that she posted a video about an incident with a former fan. I didn't know what she was talking about. I only saw her side, and she can be pretty convincing. I just believed her and moved on. Fast forward a few years, and Colleen started a podcast called Oversharing with Trish. Fast forward a few years, and Colleen started a podcast called Oversharing with Trisha Paytas. I never watched Trisha's channel before this. Obviously, I'd heard of her because everyone had, but I didn't consume her content. The only thing that I remember watching of her was her talking about how she put mint scented shower gel up her vagina and now it burns. And that's something that I can't ever forget hearing. So now you know it. You're welcome. I thought it was pretty brave for Colleen to start a podcast with someone so controversial. Colleen had a squeaky clean image up to this point, and Trisha was not. She was a drama starter. She had an OF. She wasn't known as a very, brand safe person. But I watched every episode of the podcast and I really liked it. I thought it was pretty good. They were both recent mothers, and as someone who entered my late 20s and was in a committed relationship, it was something that I was kind of starting to think about myself. So hearing, people talk about it on the internet, especially my favorite person, it was just, I enjoyed listening to it. Soon after the podcast started, I started hearing bits of information from different sources about Colleen not being a very good person. I'd heard of Adam McIntyre for the first time, who the Colleen video was about in 2020. It was the first time I heard of what happened from someone other than Colleen, and I was really confused. My life felt like it turned upside down. My bestie, my sister, my cousin. I had never heard anyone speak badly of her, but that didn't mean that I didn't believe what people were saying. I had done more research, heard multiple people speaking about it. It became big news. Adam had said that Colleen was having inappropriate conversations with him through a group chat with minors, and he was a minor at that point. The way that the messages were worded sounded exactly like something that Colleen would say. It was extremely obvious by looking at it that she was speaking, and it was her kind of sense of humor, if you want to call it that. Adam mentioned that she would talk about her divorce with Joshua David Evans and give him information behind the scenes and talk about her new relationship with Eric Stocklin. It sounded like a lot of manipulation on her end, and then like telling him secrets so he felt some sort of loyalty toward her and felt like they had a bond. I actually remember watching the live stream where she sent him the bra and underwear. I was watching it live because I watched all of her charity live streams live. I was never able to donate, but I remember that if you shared the link on Twitter, you had a possibility of winning a prize. I never did. Um, but I thought it was funny at the time that she would send someone her underwear because it was not used. And she obviously knew who he was. She was speaking like she was joking about it, like, oh, Adam, that's funny. So I didn't know who he was, but it sounded like she knew him and they had that kind of relationship. Word started getting out that she had sent Trisha's nudes to Adam and other underage people. That was crazy to me. Like, they were newly friends, but they had known of each other forever. They had gone to the same parties and everything. They knew each other. I didn't expect Colleen to do anything like that, but again, I believed it. She was starting to sound like a high school bully, like a woman stuck in a permanent teenager mindset. Like she was picking apart the people that were below her or in competition with her to make her seem superior. Johnny Silvestri, someone I had never heard of, made a video about Colleen, but he really was speaking about Joshua David Evans and saying how he was an unsafe person to be around. I had never heard anything like that about Joshua besides what Johnny was saying. I used to watch Joshua's vlogs and his "What's Up Internet" specials and stuff like that. He didn't seem like a very manipulative person. He seemed like a pretty nice guy. Someone who, like, kept Colleen grounded, because it seemed like her head was always in the clouds and he was kind of like the grounding person between the two. It seemed like a really good match. Johnny seemed to confirm what Adam was saying about Colleen being inappropriate in the group chats, but he also brought Joshua David Evans into the conversation, said that he was doing the same thing. Um, and unlike with the Colleen allegations that were backed up by other people, what he was saying about Joshua, he was the only one talking about it. Adam specifically said that he hadn't experienced what Johnny was saying about Joshua. And then it was later debunked that Joshua had been grooming Johnny. And I felt really bad for Joshua because I remember the internet tearing him apart during the divorce. And everyone took Colleen's side and shunned him from the internet, basically. He disappeared for a long time. He posted an update later about being, I don't remember if he was in a relationship with Pamela or if they had gotten married at that point, but he was speaking about like having a really dark time the past few years. He sounded like he was very unwell. The light was gone from his eyes. And then now here he was having to speak up again about something that was in his past, about an abusive relationship that was extremely public, where everyone took his abuser's side. I really felt bad for him in that moment. I mean, like, he really needs to catch a break. What Colleen has done to him is something that is, like, irreparable damage, you know what I mean? Like, between the abuse and also how the public viewed him, it just it never sat right with me, and this him having to come back into this seemed even worse. But then came everyone's favorite update, the "Hi" video on Colleen's vlog channel. I remember getting the notification for it and immediately clicking on it. I remember thinking, "Ugh, she looks so sad." And then she pulled out a ukulele. I watched the whole video, and then after it ended, I just sat in silence. Um, I thought this was going to be a serious video about her taking accountability, or at least bringing some kind of context to the situation. But instead, we got the banger of a line, "I'm not a groomer, just a loser." Yeah, seemed like she was making a big mockery of the whole situation. It had been weeks of silence, and this is how she chose to respond. Like, a lot of horrible stuff has come to light, and her way of dealing with the situation is to play the victim and brush everything away. And before her response, I was willing to hear her out, possibly watch her videos again, depending on what her take would be. But after the High video, I unsubscribed from every single channel of hers, and officially, my love had ended. A few weeks after everything, Trish made a new podcast called Just Trish. After some hesitation, I watched the first episode and I was immediately hooked. I watch every episode now, literally. It's like she posted today and I paused it to make this video. Her growth, whether real or manufactured, the way she had shifted the public's view of her is really admirable. She's on her Eras of Trish tour. She made her Broadway debut. She is pregnant with her third child. She is thriving. As for Colleen, who knows? She's still married to Eric Stocklin. It sounds like they hate each other, but they never really seemed to be very in love to start with. Adam McIntyre is on his Chronically Online tour, and this Sunday I will be attending the Orlando, Florida show. So it's interesting because the last time I had seen a YouTuber show in Orlando, it was Colleen Ballinger's show, and I was meeting her, and now we are on the right side of history, honey, and we are seeing Adam. Things have definitely changed in a short amount of time. In one way, I am glad that everything has come to the surface, but on the other way, I'm sad that it happened this way. But I'm just glad that her actions were shown and she wasn't being praised for being a good person when she obviously wasn't. Feel free to comment what your experience was below with the whole drama, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.